So this is my attempt at the Zwift Insider Tiny Race Series. They're a series of really short little races, but you only get a few minutes in between each race, so it's pretty hard work. Previously, I've not done so great on these, but let's jump straight into the action. So I find with these races, they tend to start even harder than normal Zwift races. There's no it's full gas straight from the start, and you just have to keep pushing until we hit any features within the ride. So this first one's around the Glasgow quick course. It's the reverse direction though, so I think it suits me a bit better because it's the one big kick. There's two smaller ones. Being a heavier rider, I can put out power for a short period of time, but the wheels soon fall off, so being this way round is a bit nicer for me. So start's gone well. I'm kind of positioning myself nicely at the front of the pack, still kind of got some decent power down. It's not really calmed down yet. I think at this point I'm kind of thinking, why have I entered these races again? They always hurt. But eventually catches the two kind of flies off the front, and it does calm down a little bit. So then we can just sit in and wait for the first two kickers. Right, so we can see the first of the kickers appear. So obviously knew it was going to kick off at this point, so start getting ready to put the power down as soon as we go around the corner. I think I probably overcooked it a bit, to be honest. Didn't need to go quite as hard as I did. I also hit my power up, my featherweight as well, which again I probably should have saved for the lap after, but I'd forgotten that you only get one power up in these in this race series. You don't get them when you go under the various banners. So over the first climb pretty well with the help of the featherweight power up. So now just trying to use some momentum up and over the undulations before we get to the next kick up. And this is where being kind of a heavier rider is helpful. So these are the downhills before the kickers. I can really pick up some momentum and then kind of use it to roll up part of the next climb. Again, probably going a bit hard. Probably could have sat back a bit and save some energy, but you live. Again then, so get a good chance to rest now on the downhill and cruise on the kind of fairly flat bottom part of the quick course before we hit those kickers again. first kicker again, rinse and repeat the last time round. Sprint up there, try and carry my momentum over the kind of undulation, and we'll hit the next one. Obviously this time though, in fact I've got a sprint after these in the back of my mind, so trying to save a bit of energy. A couple of guys shoot off front here, which had me a bit worried. I kind of wanted this to go to a sprint finish, but yeah, didn't panic too much. Just had my faith in the rest of the pack that we'd close them down on the run-in. Should seem to work out all right in the end. Definitely wishing I'd saved my featherweight for that final kick. But again, a nice opportunity now to kind of relax on the downhill. Able to drop my power right down to 180 odd watts. But again, obviously aware that we've only got a kilometre to go, so starting to think about wisdom for the sprint. I want to stay really around the kind of top 10, 15 riders. Don't want to be in the front. Being a heavier guy, my sprints, I tend to need a bit of time to accelerate up to full speed. So it really helps being back in the pack, so I can use kind of the shelter and the slipstream effect to kind of race through and use them as a bit of a lead out. So yeah, now starting to get a bit twitchy with the kind of 5 kilometre mark. Again, like to tend to try and sprint from about 300 metres out. I think I end up going sooner here because yeah, someone kicks and I think, right, well, better follow. So sprint starts. Not massive power because it's a bit of a longer sprint this one. Managed to fly through the pack, obviously up to speed. Then kind of started to fade. Thinking, oh, I'm not going to catch this guy. Then he started to fade too, so we both went for a second kick just to try and make sure. But over the line, second place. Pretty pleased with that. No time to rest though. Straight on to loop the loop. So this is a bit of a lumpy course, but actually we're only doing the first 6 kilometers, which is avoids the big climb at the end. So yeah, a few lumps and bumps, but nothing too worrying. So not a massively painful start this one. I think everyone's a bit tired from the last race, so it calms down quite quickly. Still able to keep the front group, although I'm definitely feeling it in my legs at this point. That sprint in the last race really took it out. But yeah, there's some splits in the pack here, so really trying to keep up the front riders, but not kind of burning matches too early on. So just trying to kind of keep my power as low as I can get away with. We then get to a few of these undulations, which again, it was kind of, if there's ever going to be a point for someone to kind of make a breakaway or split the peloton, this is where it would happen. So yeah, just trying to make sure that I move forward a bit and keep that front group and keep momentum over the lumps. We just get over the top of this little climb here, and then the pack starts to stretch out. I can see that there's a gap opening up, so I put a bit of effort in to try and make sure I stay with that front group again. I think I got a bit caught out there, getting a bit complacent, just enjoying the draft at the back. But yeah, it's pretty easy to kind of connect with that front group again, just to kind of make sure that we're in a good position when it comes to the end. Time wasn't much fun, but yeah, had to put some effort in again to try and stay well positioned at the front of the pack. You can see I soon start to kind of sag back as all the other riders surge alongside me, but I think I did just enough. I'm now starting to think about that sprint. We've got kind of 1/8 of a kilometre left to go. Yeah, it's all a bit strung out here, so I guess some people up front don't want this to end up in a sprint finish. Again, just try to kind of keep cool, and kind of slowly increase the power to try and close any gaps and stay connected to that front group. Again, so we can see people kind of launching kind of fairly early sprints. We want to kind of leave it to around that 300 meter mark, and now I can sprint from there. So yeah, started sprinting again using the kind of the slipstream, and I managed to save my power up, so I got to use my aero boost. Just run out before the end, but I think I just managed to get third place. Then it was straight onto the castle crypt. Although the profile of this one looks really flat, it's actually got quite a steep climb in it, which I really wasn't looking forward to. But I think you only have to do it twice, so it's not too bad. Cool, straight into the action. Obviously feeling it now, so the legs are pretty tired. But still a decent Zwift getaway, so bit of power down, but it settles pretty quickly this time round. I think we all know that we're going straight up a hill, so once I've secured myself in that front group, it's just kind of settling in and waiting for the grind up the hill. So everyone goes off pretty heavy and hard on this first climb, but I started to get a bit worried. Obviously the pack strings out pretty quickly. A few guys break off at the front. One guy in particular just disappears from this point. I don't think we see him for the rest of the race. Fair play to him. Some good effort. But yeah, I'm trying to kind of pace myself, stick around kind of between 200 and 300 watts, just because I know I can sustain that for a good period of time. So again, this final kind of kick up to the castle, we can see that we're splitting into some groups at the front there. Just trying to kind of ride my own hill at this point, and just kind of put down kind of power that I know I can sustain for a while, and luckily kind of the rest of the group kind of latches on to that front pack, and we all kind of come back together over the top of the hill, apart from the one guy who's just disappearing off the front at this point. Yeah, so after that climb, you get this kind of false flat. It kind of ramps up again. Just kind of not very steep, but yeah, it kind of saps your energy. So at this point, I'm kind of like, oh, right, I think it's probably time to start thinking about that power up. I can use it to rest before we kind of hit the climb again. And at this point I was worried that I was going to drop off the back of the group in front, so yeah, hit that power up, and I think that enables me to join back on and kind of cruise along the kind of flat and enjoy a bit of rest. climb again. This time I had to bury myself to kind of keep up. But I know obviously that it's kind of this climb and then kind of a short flat till the finish. So really kind of got to kind of leave nothing on the table at this point, and kind of trying to make the most of this climb. We're getting under kind of half a kilometre left. Kind of starting to think, right, how can I make this work? Can I sprint for this? And I think at this point I know that I've not got the legs to make a decent sprint. So still going to try. But, I'll leave it much later, so I only have to do a short sprint. And I don't know if I get this guy. Yeah. Yeah, so it looks like I've got a couple of guys just before the line. But again, uphill finish, so pretty pleased with ninth on that one. Then straight into Mountain Mash. Really wasn't looking forward to this one. As you can see from the elevation profile, it just goes up. Really not a good one for me. Yeah, weighing 96 kg, the hills are just killer. So it was really kind of a head down and kind of try and ride this one at your own pace. Yeah, fairly nice getaway, not too crazy. Now, see everyone's legs, especially my own, are pretty tired. And we were given the anvil. I should have looked better at the course profile because I figured it was fairly flat on the run into the climb, so I thought I'll just use it straight away, help me keep a bit of extra kind of momentum along. Little did I know the road does drop away here, so we've got a -2-3 gradient, which it wasn't too much of a problem for me anyway. So yeah, was able to kind of stick with the pack. I think everyone was going fairly easy now they're about to hit this climb, apart from a couple of guys who've just flown off the front. I think that's the last time you see them. I did have a little go to see if I could get a super tuck in on the downhill, but didn't put that much effort into it. Cool. And then we've got the climb. So yeah, it's really about settling into kind of a nice rhythm and just trying to keep the kind of power and the heart rate under control. So again, very much trying to keep it between 200 and 300 watts, knowing that I can kind of sustain that, especially after all the previous races. I know that I should be able to do that all the way to the top. Yeah, so just grind away. Again, using the gears to try and keep my RPM high. I'm really bad for just grinding. So yeah, trying to spin as best as I can. There is a nice little carrot there of a kind of a brief reprieve from the elevation or the kind of the blue section just after this hill. So that was nice to know that, yeah, as long as I could keep going till then, I can have a little rest. End up spending quite a lot of this climb next to Rawley here. So yeah, we have kind of a nice little back and forth up the next kind of pitch of the hill, which helps keep it interesting. overall. He catches me up again. Yep, and 2 as well. So we spend a little while cruising next to each other. Again, it's nice, kind of nice bit of motivation there, trying not to let these two drop me. I think from memory 2 does disappear off the head up the hill. Can't keep up with him in the end. Trying a bit of steering here to shortcut the corner as much as I can. I don't think it really helped. Right, we're starting to get near the finish line now. Obviously, yeah, less than 300 meters to go, but obviously this being an uphill finish, kind of really leaving that sprint late. Kind of trying to put it off for as long as possible, to be honest. Cool. And then this guy shoots past and that wakes me up. Right, yeah, you are going to have to put some effort in. So yeah, had a little go. Yep, over the line. Yep, 22nd position, which obviously not amazing, but given it was a hill, I think I was always going to struggle on that one. Cool, so completely exhausted at this point, but yeah, pleased to have finished all 4 races. Nice racing score bump there as well, so just snuck above 300, which is a new high for me. That's nice. And then went over to Zwift Power to have a look at the overall. So I came 2nd, 3rd, 8th and 11th, or 14th, sorry. So obviously not all the users registered on Power, so hence the kind of slightly improved results. And then jumping over to the Zwift Insider page, look at the overalls. Cat D, nice, got a 2nd overall. Yeah, so chuffed with that. Much better than my previous attempts.